how things look. In fact, Musa Danquah added a few individuals to the NDC's pack of possible flag bearer hopefuls. You have now the former TOR MD, Boss MD Kwame Wadakon, Dr. Kospio Gabra in there, and Alfredo Kovandapoy, you know, Professor Joshua Labi, that those who say the last 5 names, well, they don't want to put premium on it, but he had reason why he added them to it. You never know. Then you have Eric Opoku coming in, the current agriculture minister, added on to the others who have always been in the poll. I mean, look at the names that have come up now. Adding Eric Opoku, Professor Joshua Labi, I mean, do you see any metal in them to prove in this race?
Well, I think that everybody out there that has been projected is quite qualified. They all have their capacities and their deficiencies as well. But you know something, I may want to disappoint you because I am of the view that this is more of speculation than reality. That apart, we all know that none of these individuals, you know, have expressed their willingness and readiness to contest as presidential candidates. It is the early days of President Mahama, and I see this more as a distraction, because if they are not careful, what will happen is that those names that have been bandied about will want to outdo and outwit each other, and that could easily affect the integrity and the unity of the party that is in government. But let me also ask, for example, that what is the basis of taking away the name of the vice president? Is it the case that she fell ill and has recuperated, or Musa Danquah thinks that, you know, age is not on her side, for which reason her name has been taken away? What if, you know, she decides also to contest in the near future? What will be the architecture of the responses that will come up? Don't forget that the first poll that he brought that had the vice president name, she was ahead of every other person that, you know, he brought in terms of the names. Apart from that, the poll that he released before, I think before the Nketia or post Nketia, we saw the Greek minister outperforming that of Julius Debra. What has happened suddenly that, you know, you find a situation where he's now gone to the Sith? Probably there are a lot more questions that we may have to ask in terms of the methodology and how he got, you know, some of the responses and the percentages that is allotted. I think this is the very first time that I'm tempted to disagree, because I think that it is more speculative than reality. Look, the NDC appears more as a national party. It has nationalistic color, because you could see that there's not been a situation where one particular tribe would dominate. So you see, for example, it started with Mr. Rawlings, the late, you know, His Excellency, you know, Mr. Rawlings, 11 years as a military, 8 years as a constitutional leader, making it 19. So you will see that it's taken a little while for a Votarian to also come up. Now, the second comes Professor Mills, the late Professor Mills, from Central. Usually we will say Western Central, but from Central region. So he also leads the party for a while. Unfortunately, you know, he dies as he was in power. Then Mr. Mahama, His Excellency, the current president, comes in. So he is going to lead the party, you know, from 2012 up to 2028. I'm asking whether it would be appropriate for the NDC to have a northerner succeed another northerner. Is it possible? If it is possible, will that augur well for the unity of the party? Because I'm of the view that democracy, the essence of democracy is optimal distribution of wealth and resources. Now, when wealth, you know, concentrates in one section in a democracy, it brings other things altogether. Confusion, brouhaha, I mean, unnecessary antagonism here and there. And if you're not careful, they can easily be an implosion.
Right.
So for me, Central region, if the vice president decides to contest, I don't know. So I'm
that's why I wanted to state
analyzing my argument.
Yes, that's why I wanted to, because you had indicated that, and I want you to listen to me on the Zoom. You had indicated that you question why Musa Danquah didn't even add Professor Nana Jino Pokuajiman to this, because she hasn't indicated anywhere that whether or not she is going to contest. And also, all these individuals have not indicated openly that they are going to contest the flag bearership. So if he is putting together possible names, why not add the vice president, Professor Nana Jino Pokuajiman? That's the strong position that you pose it, isn't it?
Certainly.
I see.
Certainly. Because, yeah, she's not said everybody is concentrating on giving of their best with respect to the positions that they are occupying now and wanting to ensure that the president succeeds. That is everybody's business. But if you are speculating, like mentioning and bandying about certain names, then nothing stops you from adding the...
Sorry, unfortunately, we lost
Vice President.
Now, and thank you as well. Now, first off, I want to find out from you with the picture that has been painted by Musa Danquah for the New Patriotic Party. Yes, they have 4 months, so we cannot say for them that it's early days yet. And what the reflection is right now. Do you see anything changing, and especially the inroads that Kenneth Japon's team has responded to this, that they don't necessarily see any reflection of this on the delegates, and so they are working on the ground, and so this may not be a reflection of the reality for them. Where does the pendulum slide?
Well, it's very difficult. I don't see the pendulum sliding to, as it were, favor, the camp of Mr. Kennedy Japan. But I can understand where they are coming from, because they are really working hard. I met a friend who knows the ins and the outs of the MPP, and that was about 2 weeks ago. And he instructively said that Mr. Kennedy Japan was going to win the delegate, conference or the elections for that matter. And I was taken aback because I needed to know a little more as to the basis, upon which he was making such a wild claim. As it stands now, if you look at the architecture or the organogram of the MPP and those who qualify as delegates, if you do not have the establishment on your side, it's definitely going to be difficult. I can appreciate where Mr. Kennedy Japan's support base is, and that is the grassroots. There are people who still believe that, look, Dr. Baumia doesn't have what it takes to become the president of this republic. And that apart, they also believe that his umbilical cord is not tied to the MPP. There are many people who have such questions lingering on their minds. But, if you look at Dr. Baumia, where he's also coming from, 8 years in the position from 2008 until 2016 that they won the elections, then 8 years in government. So if you look at, in terms of experience, he's by far ahead of all his compeers. But it is in itself also a challenge for him, because he was among those who presided over an abysmal record in terms of the economy. And so that albatross is still around his neck. And that's the more reason why I said that the main problem of the NDC, when the 2024 elections, came to a closure, was Dr. Baumia. If you remember, I said that in the studios of TV3, because they are now at a crossroads. Do we brush him aside and go for a new candidate, or we continue with him and find a way of polishing him, and as it were, presenting him to the Ghanaian, the entire populace, so that they will try and see whether you'll be able to. So
if I get the understanding from you, you're looking at the popularity of the candidate and the viability of the candidate, because it goes without saying, and it cannot be contested, that yes, amongst all of them, in terms of who has been in the thick of things for the NPP in terms of the flag bearership and representing the party's face in terms of the leadership going into an election, he would be the most popular because of the number of times he has been on the ticket of the NPP as a vice presidential candidate or a running mate, and then eventually becoming a flag bearer. But you juxtapose that with the viability of the candidature as well. There are those who think differently. That's what Kennedy Apon's team is looking at. And you've heard Brian Champon as well reference a lot of times the record and what happened in Zongos and so on, which Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has disputed consistently. But is it really going to change? I mean, can anything work for him as against all the others?
Well, I think that it will be very difficult for him to be sidestepped. Although his records are quite abysmal, I'm quite sure and certain that the delegates have in mind, the delegates themselves, they appear troubled because the other contenders are good, but they are looking at not only within the party, they are looking outside the party as well.